Good morning, Ms. Wilmot. My name is Alyssa Harms. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, I'm Sally. Nice to meet you too.
Please have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Can I offer you a bottle of water today?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, my name is Alyssa Harms. I'm a social worker here at Oceanside Counseling Center. I specialize in family counseling, substance abuse, as well as child welfare. I see that you've had the opportunity to read through the contract, but I wanted to let you know again that everything we discuss within our meetings today and going forward, I will honor confidentiality, unless of course you talk about harming yourself or others. How does that sound to you?
That sounds fine. I'm just a little concerned about your age. You look really young, and can I ask how long you've been doing this or how old you are?
Oh no, I don't mind at all. I'm actually glad that you brought that to my attention. I've been with this company now for 2 months. I have been fully trained to work through situations such as this. I am 100% confident in my ability to work with you, and I would love the pleasure to do that with you if you give me that chance.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fair.
Oh, good, great. So I do recall that you were referred to us by your pastor, Robert Whitehouse, and you've had some concerns about your alcohol intake as well as concerns within your family. So today's session is going to involve a lot of me asking questions to get a better understanding of where we are. This way we could work together to develop a plan to help you overcome some of those struggles. Throughout the meeting, you will see me taking some notes about some of the stuff that we're talking about. And so far, how does everything sound to you?
It sounds good. Just the only thing is, as you know, I've been through treatment a couple times before, and I've gone back to drinking each time. So I just don't know what's going to be different this time.
Okay, so you're saying that you were in treatment in the past, and sometime after your treatment, you reverted back to alcohol. And that maybe you have some concerns and you're worried about how this time it will go for you?
Yeah, I mean, I want to control my drinking, and I'm aware that it's been a problem. I just, question myself sometimes.
Okay, well, I don't want you worrying so much about what happened in the past. We're going to focus on what we're doing today. And I do want to acknowledge that you are here today and you're taking that step forward to make some changes. And that's a huge accomplishment, something that you should be proud of for doing. So
I guess I didn't really think about that. Okay.
So I do recall that you were in inpatient treatment in the past, and you just mentioned again that you reverted back to alcohol. Let's go over some of the things that maybe triggered that drinking. What happened during that time to make you go back to alcohol?
I don't know. I can't think of anything specific. I lost control of my life.
And when you say you lost control of your life, what are you referring to? What does that mean to you?
Well, shortly after my daughter Marie was born, my father passed away, and that was very traumatic because I grew up with both my parents, but my mom is an alcoholic, so I don't have much of a relationship with her, and I've always been daddy's little girl, so maybe that was part of it.
I can only imagine how tough it must have been for you to lose your father at that time in your life. It seems to me that maybe at that point you felt extremely depressed, which is understandable.
So what happened was I ended up drinking with my youngest daughter, Cynthia, and unfortunately now she has fetal alcohol syndrome, so it's been really tough dealing with that.
I'm sure that's been tough for you and your family. Our agency has some information regarding fetal alcohol syndrome. At the ending of today's session, if you're interested, I could give you that information, and it goes over ways to get you connected with other parents who are also in a similar situation as your own. So if that's something you're interested in, we could definitely provide you with that.
I mean, it sounds like a great idea, but I just don't know how I'm going to find the time. I'm so busy.
Okay, but I do notice that you're extremely motivated. Let's talk about some of the support systems you have. Who would you describe to be in your support circle?
Well, my pastor, we talked a little bit about him. He's very supportive. And then my sister April, she's been great. So she's probably like my biggest supporter besides the pastor.
That's great that you would say that your sister is a big support in your life at this moment. I am concerned that you didn't mention your husband. How's your relationship with your husband? How is he dealing with everything at this moment?
Well, I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel like he's angry at me because of my drinking, and I think he blames me for, the situation with Cynthia. So it's not like it used to be with us.
Things aren't like they used to be. Could you explain more about that? Well, I just feel like my husband blames me for Cynthia's fetal alcohol syndrome, and it's really putting a strain on our marriage. I feel like I let him down.
So you're saying to me, if I'm understanding correctly, that things haven't quite been the same since Cynthia was diagnosed, and you feel he's frustrated with you?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's supportive. You know, he really helps the family out financially. The love is still there. It's just, you know, the communication, it just hasn't been the same lately.
So he is still extremely supportive. So that is a plus, right? And they just wish you guys could talk like you used to again, get back to the way things used to be.
Yeah, you know, he's very supportive. It's just, you know, everything's focusing on the kids, you know, the family, make sure the kids are taken care of. I just feel like we could communicate like we used to and share our feelings.
So it sounds to me that you guys are more focused on making sure the kids get to school on time and that Cynthia makes all her appointments and that she's well taken care of. But you still feel he blames you, and it's kind of hard to initiate a conversation. Am I right?
Yeah, and it wasn't always like this. You know, it was just after the situation with Cynthia, and you know, we don't speak like we used to. You know, we had a good life, a great life actually. Just things have changed.
Okay, so there was a point where you guys did get along relatively well. So Sally, I want you to do something for me. Suppose you went to bed tonight and when you woke up tomorrow morning, a miracle supposedly happened. What would that miracle look like for you?
A miracle. I think maybe that the communication problems with my husband will just disappear.
Okay, so what might your husband notice about you that would be different, that would make him want to talk more?
Well, I definitely see them happier. You know, I wouldn't be so stressed. You know, riding bikes, doing the activities that we used to do before. Um, Getting back to the us rather than, you know, mom and dad or, you know, husband, wife. It would be more togetherness.
So it sounds like a problem could possibly be solved if you guys just started to communicate a little bit better.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope we get there one day. But that's just one of my biggest problems. You know, I struggle a lot with feeling guilty, I guess shame about my daughter's fetal alcohol syndrome. You know, I feel like he's upset with me, and I guess someone I feel like I deserve it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, in addition to your marital conflicts, Cynthia's FAS is very difficult for you. Could you express to me what that's like?
Well, yeah, I tend to blame myself, you know, for Cynthia. She isn't developing the way she should, from what the doctors have been telling me. You know, it's very upsetting to me as a mother. I would never want that for any of my children, and it's just way too much for me to handle.
Well, I understand that it must be extremely difficult for you. You know, your child is going through this, and you're worrying about it being like your fault, right? You're feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I feel so much guilt. I just wish, you know, things would change. My life is in shambles right now.
So when you say your life is in shambles, what exactly does that mean?
It's really hard on me right now. I know it's my fault. You know, I drank through my pregnancy. There's no denying that. I wish I didn't. It's really hard on me because I know if I didn't drink with Cynthia, that, you know, none of this would happen, and she would have, you know, normal development just like my other kids.
So I know you're feeling remorseful about all that has happened, and you wish you could take it all back.
I do, because I love her enough to stop drinking, and I feel like that I'm a good mother and I'm capable of getting there again.
So what I'm hearing is, you know, you're really not as bad as you may think. You managed to make all of Cynthia's appointments as well as keep your household together, and that's very commendable.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm a good mother, but, you know, I'm really not. I mean, what mother would drink, you know, throughout her pregnancy? I mean, who would do that to her child?
It's understandable why you feel the way you feel, and it's a very difficult time for you right now. And you know, you have a lot going on. The weight of the world is pretty much on your shoulders right now. But you need to give yourself some more credit. I don't think you're that bad.
Thank you.
I don't think you're that bad. The fact that you came in today shows some form of motivation, and that's called taking the first step to making your life better. I know you love Cynthia, and you wish she didn't have to go through this, but you do have other children in the home. Tell me a little bit about John Jr. and Maria and how they're handling this.
One is John Jr. He's a great help. He helps with everything. He kind of reminds me of my father. He has the compassion. I see it in him a lot. And Maria's the same way. She helps a lot with Cynthia.
That's beautiful. You really raise your children well.
Yeah, they both do really good in school. Doctor says, they're on track with their development. No struggle. To be honest, I don't even know how I manage, raising them that well in the midst of everything going on in my life.
You really should be extremely proud of yourself because I know it's overwhelming with all you are going through. So let me ask you, what is your greatest motivator in wanting to be sober?
It's got to be my kids. My kids are my whole life. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be. So definitely my children. That's my biggest motivator. That's the reason I'm here today.
So it sounds like you are very optimistic, and I'm so very proud that you really did take the first steps to being here today.
Thank you. I do feel very determined to stop using alcohol. My family's welfare is extremely important to me.
So let me ask you, Sally, how is it that you came to this decision to stop drinking?
Something just needed to change. My life has been going downhill, it seems. I wake up with headaches in the middle of the night. It's not good for my health.
So it sounds to me like if you stop drinking, your physical health and your mental health would improve?
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like my drinking is the biggest issue that I have to deal with at the moment. It's not the only one, but it's the main one.
So you mentioned that you tried to stop drinking several times before. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Of course. So I've been in treatment in the past a few times. I've been in rehab twice. I just kept going back to alcohol.
And so when you went back to alcohol, was there anything in particular that caused you to do that?
No. Not really. I mean, I don't recall. There's just a lot going on in my life, between Cynthia, my father passing, mostly Cynthia's FAS, I think.
So when you say treatment, you're talking inpatient or outpatient?
Both were inpatient treatments for 28 days. I did do an outpatient with counseling after that. It was a little bit ago.
And what were those experiences like?
It didn't work out for me. I felt like the people that I was dealing with, they were mature, very young. I just didn't feel comfortable. And, that's why I asked you in the beginning. I was curious about your age. It's just because of my experience in the past.
I see. So that made you a little uncomfortable. So I just want you to know that it's not unusual sometimes for a client not to feel a connection with a therapist. But that doesn't mean that they have to end their relationship. So what I'd like to propose in our counseling relationship is that if you feel that way or you're uncomfortable for some reason, that you talk to me about it and we discuss it. Take it from there.
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Okay, good. So it sounds like you really want to be sober. How long would you say it's been since your last drink?
About a month or so.
Okay. And what have you been doing to help yourself not drink?
Honestly, I just don't drink. Some days are harder than others.
So on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being that you really, really want to have a drink, and 10 being that you have no desire, where would you say you are on that scale?
Probably a 4.
What's different on the days that you didn't drink compared to the days that you did? What would you say?
On the days that I didn't drink, I feel happier. Me and my husband communicate better, and I'm better able to deal with everything going on with my life, especially with Cynthia's fetal alcohol syndrome.
I think it's really remarkable that you've been able to find something deep down inside yourself to say, I'm tired of this and I want this to stop, and, to make that decision. I think part of what is happening is that you're realizing you're not a victim, that you are strong, you are a survivor, and you have the resilience to overcome this.
We're getting close to the end of the time of the session. There were a couple of things I wanted to discuss. But first, is there anything that you can think of that you wanted to say at this point?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You mentioned the problems with communication that you and John are having. And what are the types of things that you're currently struggling with that you would have a difficult time communicating with John?
I think, sometimes I do feel like drinking, and I worry that if I express that to my husband, that he would think less of me. And, I just really want to show him that I could do this.
Okay, so that's kind of scary because it's something important that you would want to talk to your partner about if you're afraid to do so.
I just don't think he would understand.
Right. Okay. So when those situations come up, I mean, who do you talk to? That's hard. Who would you speak to?
I talked to my pastor about some things. I just don't think he really understands my alcoholism to the fullest.
Okay. What do you suppose it would be like if you had a close friend from Alcoholics Anonymous that you could speak to?
They would understand me more, that's for sure.
Okay, so overall, it's difficult to approach family members or people that you're close to talk about these kind of things. But you feel that, if you were speaking to somebody, another recovering alcoholic, that would be more successful.
Yeah, I think I would feel more comfortable talking to somebody in a similar situation just because there's not that barrier of, them understanding me.
Right. Okay. The focus of your therapy is that we want to work on your sobriety and we want to address the issues that cause the depression. So far today we've talked about Cynthia's FASD, about the difficulties in communication in the marriage. There's two other things that I wanted to talk about, and one would be growing up with your mother as an alcoholic, a practicing alcoholic, and the effects that might have had on you. It's possible that could contribute to depression. I don't know, but I want to explore it further. Okay. The other thing that we really haven't talked a great deal about was the passing of your father, which I know has been a very difficult thing for you.
Yeah, it has been very difficult for me.
Okay. A couple of things. I brought along a couple of things that I wanted to give to you. The first thing, this is a meeting list of all the AA meetings in the local area. Okay, according to days and time. And I grabbed a couple brochures. This one is on sponsorship. You've heard of what sponsors are, and I imagine the meetings you were in, the treatment, things like that.
Yes, I have.
Okay, but that can answer some additional questions. The other thing is this, it's a brochure for people that are new to AA. It might, if you know a little bit more going into it, you might feel a little bit more comfortable. I also download some information from you on adult children of alcoholics. And I would like you to review this prior to coming into your next session because we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Adult children of alcoholics is a 12-step meeting like AA, and it's a support group for people who grew up in homes like you did. So and you might be surprised at how much you have familiar, how similar some of the problems you're going through are with some of the people there. The other thing, and there are a number of these out here, but I brought this along anyway. The Mental Health Association offers a number of groups on grief. And same thing, there's support groups where people get together and they get to talk about what it is they're going through and find support in that. Okay, now there's really, one last question that I have for you today.
Okay.
And that is, when you came in here this morning, what was it that you hoped to achieve in time that you were here?
I just need to find ways to help me reach sobriety, because I've been through it before, and and ways to address, the concerns I have concerning my depression.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I think we've accomplished quite a bit today. And I think that we're on the way to creating a treatment plan that's going to work you achieve your goals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.